I get to hacking and coughing during my speech, you'll have to forgive me. I sprayed about 11 acres of with Roundup last Saturday on my little tractor. My big one's broken, so I got water with me to make it through. You know, this is a fun opportunity. This is my 15th year. And I looked on the website this morning to see who was doing the political speaking, and I see this picture of this beautiful lady, and it was Marcia Barber. And then I see Governor Barber there, and I see this nice-looking, flat-stomach young fella, and it was me. I don't know what happened. I guess, you know, I grew this after about 15 years of fussing and fighting for a living, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a great year for the Attorney General's office. We've returned $206 million to the people of the state of Mississippi this past year. We won a couple of cases at the United States Supreme Court to stop federal overreach. One of them dealt with the internet sales tax, and the other was sports betting, where the federal government was telling the states what to do. And as a result of those, you know, this internet sales tax will bring in about $134 million a year. As will sports betting, by some calculations, anywhere from $12 to $50 million more dollars, in addition to the $206 million that our office brought in this past year. You know, total over the past 14 years, our office has brought in about $3 billion. You know, give or take a few $1 million here and there, I guess it's enough to pave somebody's driveway. You know, apparently that's what the legislature's done. What is, you know, it's funny. As soon as I bring in some money, they're ready to huddle up down there and take credit for it. You'd think they went to the United States Supreme Court and actually won those cases and had an impact, and they're ready to spend that money. And you know, it's somewhat frustrating some of the time when they go down there and they try to stop me from actually being successful in some litigation. Just this year, over in the Senate, they amended a bill that everybody wanted passed for the Public Service Commission to be reinitiated. And they stuck a poison pill in there to give energy an opportunity to try to stop a case that we're going to win. It's set for trial in November, and it's a $1 billion case to many of you ratepayers and the state of Mississippi in this area. Well, I would understand if they amended the bill and tricked a lot of people into thinking that that was something good and that they weren't going to have any effect on our litigation. Well, first thing Energy did was file a motion to try to dismiss our case, you know, based upon that. You know, there's been a lot of yapping over at the legislature of late. You know, everybody getting blamed for things, and I mean, you would think I'm the one that went over there and amended a bill to fix a road. Those kind of things. What you're seeing is people who are just attacking the messenger, and they're trying to deflect attention away from the problems. And there are problems in our state. There are problems with our economy, and you're going to hear a lot of that yapping over here in the next few days of how great everything is, how low unemployment is, and all those things. So many people have just not even started trying to find jobs. That's why those statistics are there. And you know about statistics and lies and damn lies, and you know, you'll hear plenty of that. And it's frustrating to see our officials talk about things that they've done and all these accomplishments. Well, look around and go ask some people. Go ask some builders. Go ask Mr. Gates, who most of their work, the contractors, are outside our state because our economy's flat. And, you know, as a prosecutor for 25 years, I've learned that our court system has rules. And those rules are to keep people on the issue and stop bringing in irrelevant things. And so I'd like to kind of lay out for you how the facts are, just the facts, and what's happening in our state, and the way a court will look at it. The court won't let a defendant come in like criminal defense lawyers often do, and they'll try to blame the law, or they'll try to blame the system, or they'll try to blame the prosecutor, just to deflect attention away from what they've done. Now let me tell you what the legislature has accomplished with our economy over the past 8 years. Mississippi has grown at a rate of 1% since the Great Recession. Now those numbers have kicked up just a little bit because the last 3 or 4 months we've sold off a lot of beans to avoid the tariff battles that we see out there on the horizon. But still, the southeastern average in our economy in our state is at the average growth rate since the Great Recession of our economy is 16%. Mississippi's been growing anywhere from 1 to 3%. Now why is that we're not enjoying the prosperity that the nation is seeing? When we see Tennessee growing at a rate of 19%, if you go to Nashville, you see all the buildings, you see things going on where people are working and working people are swinging hammers and it's boosting the economy. And those aren't my figures. Those are those figures that are testified to by our state economists. They were testified to before the legislature last fall. And so our economy is not moving. The MEC goes over to the legislature with a silver platter and says, let's build some highways. Our highways are falling apart, our bridges, our city streets. Things are going down. We're seeing problems that have occurred just as a direct result of the legislative inaction. You see cops in danger of arrest when they're arresting people with mental health issues, and then they go put them in jail where they don't belong, where we're housing people. You see problems at our crime lab, where if somebody dies, say your husband dies, then you've got to get a death certificate to recover on your insurance. Well, the crime lab is so backed up because we haven't been able to hire enough people to do autopsies about a year. Then widows are sitting anywhere from 6 months to a year to get their life insurance. I mean, you're kicking widows out. And those are issues that are directly attributable to what the legislature has done. On the issue of college tuition, it's doubled since I took office in 2003. It's gone from about 4,000 in most of our schools a semester to 8,000. They priced working people like me out of an opportunity to send their kids to college without debt. Well, they've all run up college debt. And guess what? In order to pay it, they've got to get a job. And they have to leave our state. And our best and brightest in our state are having to leave because they don't have jobs that they can pay off the student debt. And we have lost more kids to the brain drain than any state in the union over the past 6 years. The one that really gets me, though, is the tax cuts that have happened in the legislature. They gave away $350 million already. That passage over the past 5 years. But on top of that, they came in with another tax cut, and it was $418 million. And that's every year. It's going to go into effect over a 10-year period. And guess what percentage of that $418 million in tax cuts goes to large out-of-state corporations? 78%. They didn't help Main Street merchants in any way in our state. 78%. The reason we know that is we checked who paid in the franchise tax before this tax cut went into effect. And so they're taking care of large out-of-state corporations, and they've given away our assets. $750 million by the time all these tax cuts go into effect out of a $6 billion a year budget. That's where our problems are coming from. We've given it all away. That what's happened is they have milked that tax cut dry. Just like you milk a cow dry, they have milked that issue dry. And that's what's causing the problems in our state because they're giving it to those who don't need it, and they're kicking those least among us to the curb. That's what's frustrating to me, to see them not even care about regular working people who are out here suffering and trying to make a living. It's time for adults to lead in our state, for us to step up. So there is hope, though. There is hope in our state. We have an opportunity to make the corner away from these things, and there's some low-hanging fruit that the legislature, the votes were already there in the legislature to do, such as the gas tax. The MEC went over there again on a silver platter, and they thumbed their nose at the MEC to build roads. The lottery. If you're going to have a sin tax, they're going to huddle up in a special session and try to spend the lottery if they pass it on roads. Well, you've already got a source of money for the roads. If you're going to have a sin tax, the least you should do with it is give it to our children for pre-K education or otherwise. They're going to do the same thing with that money from the sports betting that we're about to see come online. Those are sin taxes, and they ought to be going to our kids, at least since we already have a source for funding for our highway program. Medicaid, that we could have expanded and kept our emergency rooms open in many small towns like mine, where Houston, Mississippi, where they closed. We've had an emergency room all my life in Houston, Mississippi. My granddaddy practiced medicine there in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. We've had an emergency room. But when we didn't expand Medicaid, that hurt medical clinics and some of the best jobs in communities, and we shut down our emergency room. To put that in perspective, think about that a minute. We had better emergency health care in rural Mississippi in 1940 than we've got right now. Now that's what's insane, and those are the things that bother me, but those are low-hanging fruit things that we could have passed. There's some things that we can do for our community colleges and tuition for our kids so that they don't have all the college debt. In my 5 counties, if you want to go to a community college tuition-free, you just have to keep a 2.0 average. And that is if you can't get a scholarship otherwise. That's Chickasaw, Monroe, Itawamba, Pontotoc, and Lee County. If our 5 counties can do it, we can do that statewide. It only cost Chickasaw County $8,000 last year. Those things that's what Tennessee is doing statewide. Community college tuition for any kid that wants to go. And you need those to provide those technical skills so that they can learn to run computers and then take jobs even in a furniture factory now. You got to learn how to run computers. I mean, those are low-hanging fruit things that we could change. And I think, change is in the air. I think people are tired of what we're doing now. They know that what we're doing is not working for our economy or for our people. Working people aren't working and swinging hammers and building things, and that's the way that you boost an economy. You don't do it with tax cuts. That's already been proven. That is a proven fact. Just like in a court of law. Look at the state of Kansas, look at the state of Louisiana. They tried this tax cut. All this trying to give them away to the large corporations, and somehow they're going to tinkle it back down on us. Well, let's tinkle back down on us. If you're on Board of Aldermen, or if you're on a county supervisor seat, you understand what the legislature has done to our counties and our cities and how it's choked off their ability to provide services for their citizens. Now, I know a lot of you wanted to hear a rip-roaring speech about the things that are going on in Jackson and all the yapping over from the legislature. But I got a job to do, folks. And as a prosecutor, I've been doing it 25 years. And you hired me on to follow and do my job right and not get out here and make political hay off of something like that. Now, I'd like to. I can guarantee you it would be fun. But I can't do that this year. But let me tell you what. Next year, over the next year, I'll have an opportunity to finish this indictment and go forward with the facts and prove what problems that we have in Mississippi. I'm already seeing the undercurrents of Mississippi of change happening. You see business people, Main Street merchants, builders, road contractors, regular contractors who are making their money out of state. You're seeing doctors, you're seeing hospitals, you're seeing municipal alder persons. You're seeing county boards of supervisors, superintendents of education, people that work in the courthouses. You're seeing those big blocks of people moving in the right direction to try to move our state forward instead of backwards. That's the direction we've been going over the past 8 years, and I think it's time for us to make that change. And I invite you to join me. If you're tired of self-dealing and partisan bickering and yapping, then let's move our state forward. I hope you'll work with me over the next year so that we can move our state forward. I've enjoyed being here with you as always. Thank you and God bless you.